I was offered an opportunity to take a governmental position in Florida with a fugitive task force. The salary increase, opportunity to travel, and training I would receive to serve federal warrants made the offer impossible to refuse. I left Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and headed to my new agency based out of Hollywood, Florida. The next 8 years were highly demanding and took their toll on my personal life, but I was passionate and loved the field. My team's area of operation was the East Coast of the United States and the Caribbean. One day we might be serving on a high-risk fugitive warrant in a dangerous public housing project in Brooklyn, New York. 2 days later, we might be sent to Consent Springs, Jamaica, to work with the Constable Force to effect an arrest and extradition of a fugitive wanted in the U.S. For the first time in my life, the money was flowing. The job was exciting, and I was thrilled to get up in the morning and be alive. Life was good. I say life was good because in 1995, as a result of specific federal funding programs being reallocated to states in the form of block grants, our agency was dissolved. Many of my friends in the agency transferred laterally into other agencies such as the U.S. Marshals, Customs, Border Patrol, before they got blended into DHS. This dissolution and transition for them was relatively seamless because, unlike me, they had college degrees. Despite my qualifications, federal letters of recommendations, and heartfelt support of my agency peers, I was unemployable with agencies that required a college education. Facing inevitable unemployment caused a huge amount of stress for me, and the fact that I could dedicate 8 years of my life to an agency that could so easily discard me and 325 other agents boggled my mind. To add insult to injury, government policy had just taken away the one job I had truly been inspired to do because of my passion for the work. Angry, frustrated, and feeling victimized, my life in general, I decided to leave Florida and spend a few weeks with my parents in Savannah, Georgia, decompressing and considering my options. The ride north provided me with the quiet solitude I needed for introspection and a dialogue with the universe. My mind was conflicted, and I needed guidance from a source above my proverbial pay grade. The right side of my brain felt victimized and resentful, wanting to strike out at those who wielded the power of the purse required to terminate my employment. At the end of the day, my position had been compromised by politics and money, neither of which cared about my loyalty or well-being for an instant. The left side of my brain recognized all of the above, but further recognized the need for a long-term solution that would ensure a situation like this would never happen again. In order to accomplish this, not only would I have to honestly resolve my resentment and envy of success, I would actually have to learn how to hold successful people up as an inspiration in my quest to conquer my personal biases. As I arrived in Savannah, I remembered exactly the last few lines of my dialogue with the universe I was having before my vehicle came to a halt in front of my parents' house. I stated clearly and with total conviction that 1, I needed to be successful and financially independent. 2, I needed to release and resolve my negative perceptions of those individuals who were successful. And 3, I needed to find someone or a group of people to teach me how successful people actually accomplish what they do on a regular basis in the business world. It's been said that when you ask God for something, be very careful how you formulate your request. If you ask for patience, you'll be given a circumstance that demands you demonstrate patience, not patience itself. I can vouch for that statement. Life's ironies know no bounds, and the universe definitely has a sense of humor. 2 weeks after my arrival in Savannah, Georgia, I found myself employed with Corporate Protective Services Group, a company that provided executive protection services to a wide range of clients in many different countries. 6 weeks after my arrival in Savannah, I was attending the prestigious Executive Protection Institute in Berryville, Virginia. Soon after, I find myself in the company of those I had despised the most, the wealthy, the successful, and the leaders of corporate America. Life's ironies know no bounds, and the universe definitely has a sense of humor. The universe also responds to our requests to expand and grow, albeit unusual, not in the manner in which we can predict. Contrary to commonly held beliefs propagated by pop culture and the media, the professional life of an executive protection specialist is anything but exciting. While it's true that both the compensation and training tend to be exceptional, the days are long and the routine functions, if properly executed, are rather mundane. It's a recognized truism within the industry that if for any reason your life becomes truly exciting, that moment of exhilaration can be attributed to someone on the team not having performed their assigned responsibilities properly. My first 2 years in the field found me on a team assigned with the responsibility of conducting advance work. Our team would travel ahead of the actual protection detail, gathering any and all information concerning the location and environments within which the actual protective detail would be operating. Our team would document and plan travel routes, conduct site security surveys of the physical structures the principal, the person we were protecting, would be visiting, and perform a host of other functions meant to ensure the assignment would be carried out flawlessly and without incident. At first glance, it would seem this type of assignment would be less preferable to work on the close protection detail, which actually had direct contact with the high-profile personality being protected. For those that operate from a position of ego and attention, that may very well be true. However, from a more practical perspective, I can say with complete honesty that the skills I honed while serving in this capacity were a critical component in my success in the business world. At the time, of course, I had absolutely no idea this was going to be the case. The function of advanced work by necessity requires proficiency and expertise in 4 critical areas: observation, documentation, attention to detail, and critical analysis. The peripheral skills that naturally follow are memory and recall, followed by the ability to effectively network and coordinate with a diverse group of management professionals in a wide range of environments. I'll be expounding upon this topic in further details in Chapter 8, The Innovative Mind, developing and researching your business concept. But for the time being, suffice it to say that possessing these skills will provide you with a unique advantage in any competitive small business environment. Over time, I eventually progressed within my organization and was assigned to the close protection detail, a position that afforded me the opportunity to be in close proximity to the principals we protected. My mind was flooded with images of luxury and influenced by preconceived notions I held about those who possessed the wealth and power I associated with. To say the least, my mindset was wrong. I had envisioned these successful executives as the spoiled rich kids I had seen in high school, living a life of luxury and leisure while deriving untold amounts of wealth at the expense of their subordinates. I had imagined these kings of the corporate empire reaping the benefits of success while their minions blindly did the bidding of their corporate masters. Admittedly, the thought of spending my time immersed in the lap of luxury, aboard yachts, at executive country clubs, in private jets, and on golf courses appealed to me on a subconscious level. As it turns out, as it had on many previous occasions, I was wrong. And if it appears that I'm making a habit of admitting I'm wrong with respect to my perceptions of those I consider to be successful, it's only because so many of my ill-conceived perceptions were completely unfounded. To a fault, these individuals were the most driven people I had encountered outside of military circles. They possessed almost limitless energy and followed schedules that wore our protective detail down to the bone. An 18-hour workday was the norm for the majority of these executives, and their perpetual motion guaranteed that not a single hour was wasted in a day. This observation led to my first epiphany. Not only were these individuals not lazy, they actually worked harder than I ever had in my life. I never imagined that bosses would work so hard voluntarily. My close proximity to these corporate leaders not only allowed me to observe their actions, it allowed me to experience firsthand their character and personalities. They tended to be pleasant, upbeat, and extraordinarily positive in their outlook and interactions, a far cry from the tyrannical, condescending, and superiority-oriented personality I had created of them in my mind. With each of these individuals was phenomenally wealthy by my standards. It was not money for the sake of money that drove them with the level of intensity I witnessed. Their passion was derived from the value they created, not from the wealth they generated. Wow. Their passion was derived from the value they created, not from the wealth they generated. This observation led me to my second epiphany. Their concept of success was defined by the pursuit of value, and the creation of wealth was a byproduct of their focused passion and determination to succeed. My position within the close protection circles also afforded me the opportunity to know and understand these individuals on a personal level as well. With proper observations and listening skills, it's virtually impossible to spend 18 hours per day with someone and not come to understand their personal philosophies and details about their life. It stands to reason that if I knew their medical history, dietary requirements, and personal habits, I would know about their background. I had envisioned these successful executives as being uniquely different from those of us in common humanity, utilizing their gift of genetic and intellectual superiority to achieve a level of prosperity not available to those of us born into less fortunate circumstances. I imagined that they had been groomed from birth for greatness, sent to all the top-ranking Ivy League schools, and given access to a network of high society circles that all but guaranteed their prosperity. I assumed that having been born with their proverbial silver spoon in their mouths and insulated from failure, their pedigree dictated their destiny. And it turns out once again, yes, you guessed it, I was wrong. Were there individuals that were born into a wealthy family and had the benefit of going to universities like Harvard and Yale? Absolutely. However, they were the exception and not the rule. Were any of these successful executives uniquely different from the rest of us in the ranks of common humanity? Not even close. The majority of these successful executives came from families and backgrounds eerily similar to my own and faced almost identical challenges. Many disliked their educational experience